Welcome into 5 Reasons to Bet, weekend edition. Friday going into the weekend. I'm Ethan Skolnick. You can follow me at Ethan J. Skolnick or at 5 Reasons Sports. We got our guy Jim Rodriguez. You can follow him at Jrod Show. We've got 3 NFL games to give to you. Thursday night game. By the way, how did that end up playing out? Which of us won?
The only one. Well, Taylor won because Alf and I had Washington plus the 3.5. But I did have over 3.5 field goals. So, I was happy about that.
And I had the over overall, and that did play. So that worked out. All right, so let's get to the Dolphins and the Bills. Sometimes it's good to wait to do one of these. We waited a few minutes, and there's some news on the Dolphins side now. Will Fuller, their big wide receiver acquisition in the offseason, who missed the first game because of an extension of a suspension, is not going to play in this game. They were counting on him to play because of personal reasons. It actually sounds like he may not play for a while. And so, we'll see what happens with the Dolphins. They have the same receiver crew they had last week, potentially with Preston Williams being put up. We'll see if he's added to it, which might put Jalen Waddle in the slot. But even before this, you really didn't like the Dolphins this weekend.
No, I mean, the number right now says Buffalo minus 3.5. So the Dolphins are a home underdog. And by the way, the underdogs have played because the Giants, the underdog, won on Thursday night.
Yeah.
13-4 are the underdogs so far in this young NFL season. It's Bills are laying 3.5. Over under is 48. I'm staying away from the 48. I just don't think, for as impressive as Miami's defense was, I just don't think they have enough lead in the pencil to keep up with the Bills. Because listen, the Bills lost, but they were 1 of 4 in the red zone against Pittsburgh. They had a block punt for a touchdown, and they ended up losing by 7. And remember, Buffalo's beaten Miami 5 in a row. The last time the Dolphins beat Buffalo was in 2018, which was here in Miami in December, the Adam Gase era, which, by the way, was the last time the Dolphins started 2-0, by the way. I just don't see the offense keeping up with the high-octane offense of the Bills. I mean, I like Buffalo in this game. I like them laying the 3.5. I think Miami needs to score at least in the 30s just to keep up. So I see it more 31-23 kind of game. I'm staying away from the over-under, but I like the Bills laying the 3.5 for sure.
I will say this. I think the first score in this game is really, really critical for a couple of reasons. One, Buffalo obviously, got kind of smacked last week at home with all those high expectations. But also, it just feels to me like the way that they have things set up with Tua right now and the way they've set up this defense, the defense needs to play with a lead. They play much more aggressively that way with a lead. But also with Tua, I just don't feel like he's the type of quarterback right now. They're not giving him enough to do to be able to improvise and come back. I just feel like they've got to get ahead and play from ahead. I am wishy-washy in this, but I will say this. I do like the over. I feel the over in this game. I don't really like the play either way. It makes me uncomfortable. It is interesting to me that after the Bills lose at home, the Dolphins win on the road against comparable opponents, that really the line didn't move from what it would have been. I mean, I think the Bills would have been a 3 to 4 point favorite here in Miami regardless. So I did find that interesting. But you like Buffalo.
I like Buffalo. And the one thing that the only negative from that win that got me thinking is Miami gave up over 120 yards on the ground. Not that Buffalo is known for that, but I think that will open up, if they have any kind of a running game, that'll open up Josh Allen even more. And that's the last thing you need if you're a Dolphins fan, have the Bills be able to do something on the ground, and then that opens up their passing game. I just think Buffalo's got too many weapons. I think it was one bad game, a game that they really dominated. It's not like they got smacked around. The Bills dominated that game against the Steelers. They just couldn't put the ball in the end zone, something that I think they'll correct on Sunday at Hard Rock.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Also, 1 o'clock game. It is going to be hot.
90 degrees.
90 degrees, and that does favor Miami. And you're going to have a crowd that's obviously pumped up because they couldn't fill the place.
I will say this: if you're thinking about a nice little first quarter bet, think about this: the Dolphins allowed 3 points. They averaged allowing 3.5 points in the first quarter last year, and they shut out the Patriots in the first quarter in week 1. So maybe an under first quarter might be interesting as Buffalo tries to get their sea legs, so to speak, in the heat. Might be something worth thinking about, a first quarter under in that game.
You know what else you should think about? The weekend is starting. I know I'm going out the next 2 nights.
Oh, boy.
Get your booze bandages. here's a word from one of our sponsors.
Click, clap, blast 'em.
All right, use that
Happiest
code.
people ever in the morning. Happiest people ever.
I'm not even gonna say, I don't want somebody that happy in the morning. 5RSN, use the code, get your 20% off. I should have mentioned this at the beginning too. We are sponsored as always by BetUS. Go to betus.com. Use that code 5, F-I-V-E, to get your bonus there. Again, that's the code 5. Easiest platform to play. And they've got great live betting there, and you can bet on anything, and you'll get your money quickly, which is not something that happens with a lot of these sites. So go to betus.com. There it is, betus.com. Those are the lines that we're citing here during the show. All right, let's get to it. America's team looked pretty good the other night, actually. They couldn't finish, but they did win for you. They did cover the game. Dak looked fantastic. I don't know, the defense, they're going against Tampa, so it's hard to judge, but I still don't really trust it. What do you see this week?
I mean, they're in LA to play the Chargers. It's the late game. It's America's game, if you want to put it that way. Listen, I think this is going to be a shootout. I think we're going to see points. Think about it. Yeah. Justin Herbert for the Chargers, 337 yards in the air against a very good Washington defense. Tampa Bay torched Dallas for 379 yards, and Dak threw for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think it's got all the makings. 55.5 points. That's the over-under. I think they're going to get that halfway through the third quarter. I think we're going to see points. If you're interested in the number, it's Dallas +3. I'm going to stay away from that. It wouldn't surprise me if Dallas covers, because the Chargers, doesn't matter who the coach is, from Marty to Anthony Lynn, it doesn't matter. The Chargers find a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory there. They just find a way. Dallas +3 is interesting. I'm going to stay away, but the over 55.5, no doubt. And I also like the Chargers over 28.5 points, because I think there's going to be points. There's going to be a lot of points. It's a controlled environment. You know, it's, even though it's in LA, it's in a dome. I think it's going to be an absolute shootout. All
right, and one more, the Texans.
The Texans are in Cleveland, the home opener for the Browns. Tyrod Taylor, my man. Listen, he was the quarterback in Cleveland before Baker Mayfield. He was the quarterback in LA before Justin Herbert. The guy plays well. 21-33, 2 touchdowns against the Jaguars. Listen, they're 13-point road dog. That doesn't interest me at all. What interests me, I think, is the Texans are going to score points. 17.5. That's the over-under, how many points the Texans are going to score. I think they could score 18 points against Cleveland's defense. Tyrod Taylor is a legitimate quarterback. They've got legitimate players. Sure, it's not Deshaun Watson. They actually won. They're the only team that won in that division. I'm going to take a little money, and I'm going to go with the Texans over 18.5 points by Lake Erie.
Yeah, I mean, they won. I don't know if they won and win, but they did win. You're right about that. All right, so just to recap here, play the Bills. The only other thing to look at in that game, one of the primary things to look at, is maybe play the under in the first quarter. Dallas and Chargers, look at the over there, and then the Houston game, look at the Texans over 17.5. Use that code 5, F-I-V-E, betus.com. That's betus.com. We'll be back next week.
Monday night.